Welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. Just go ahead and hit that subscribe button, please. And let's get right into the material. So, 400 teachers resign in 11 days. 400 teachers resign in 11 days. I want you to let that sink in. 400 teachers resign in 11 days. Listen. Jamaica is having a teacher's crisis, okay? And this is a long time coming. But we're going to dive way into this topic right here. We're going to talk about the brain draining. We're going to talk about people just wanting to be able to exercise their maximum potentials. People just wanting to be able to be paid their worth. People just wanting to be able to earn a livable salary and under decent work conditions, okay, and be respected in their professions. I've always said this, and I will say it again. I do believe that teaching is one of the jobs that should be, or career fields that should be, one of the highest paid career fields. If you think about it, all of us leave our children in the company of teachers. We entrust these teachers to sharpen the minds of our children. These children are the future, right? So these people who we call teachers, they are entrusted with the task to sharpen the minds of tomorrow's people starting today, right? Okay, so why would they not be at the forefront of a pay raise? Why would they not be at the forefront of a decent livable wage with proper benefits to back it? 400 teachers resign in 11 days was printed in the Jamaica Observer today. And we're going to get into that whole article. But before we get into that whole article, I want to tell you this, right? I went and did a little research. How much does entry-level teachers make in different states in the United States of America? And this information says the average is $40,568 per year as of July 25th of 2023. But it typically falls between $33,874 to $49,477. That's US dollars. Okay? Now, I've seen the protests. I've seen and heard the cries of the Jamaican teachers for years. Most of them, they have no intentions or had no intentions before of migrating overseas. They just wanted to be in their own homeland, building the country, giving back, right, through educating the youths. But they had to beg and plead and crawl and plead and protest just to be respected, just to be treated with respect, as in paid. I've seen teachers cry on national TV saying my mortgage is past due by many months. Now I'm getting eviction notices. I'm about to lose my property. Soon won't have anywhere to live, and it's a shame. Others are saying, oh, I have not been paid in months. I don't know where they do that at, but I can't imagine going to work and not being paid in months or weeks. You pay me every time my paycheck is due or I do not come back to work. Period. Right? I can assure you one thing. In the United States of America, there will be no pay discrepancies. So, although there are a lot of people on social media who are trying to scare these teachers from leaving Jamaica per se, because they tell them things like, it's going to be rough when you get there. You have to think about the assimilation part. You have to think about their standards are much higher than the standards that you're used to in Jamaica. You have to think about all the responsibilities. You have to learn a new system. All this, the children are unruly. They're out of control. Man, listen. At the end of the day, for 30 something to 40 something thousand US dollars per year, I think a lot of these teachers have weighed their options and they're like, you know what? Sign me up. I'm out of here. Because at least in a few years, I can save a little bit of money and see my way through. Some of them have no intentions of returning to Jamaica. Let's be honest. So they will extend these teachers' visas in these areas that have severe shortages, and they will extend and they will extend, and then others, while living and working in the U.S., they will go on to find people that like them and fall in love with them and want to marry them, and then they will be married, and then they will file for them on that behalf, spouse papers, and before you know it, they'll be green card holders instead of just visa holders, and they eventually will be Americans to a sense, right? There's a particular body of work that I'm encouraging everybody to go and look at if you're concerned about the conditions under which most of these teachers will be working. It's called Pedagogy of the Transplanted, a study of selected first-year Jamaican immigrant elementary school teachers and their perspective on South Carolina's curriculum processes. Written by Claudia Fletcher Lambert, University of South Carolina, and it is in the Scholar Commons. I will just read an excerpt of that for you, just in case you feel like it's going to be an easy transition for everybody. All the teachers in Jamaica, just pack your stuff, head on over to America, and you'll be making lots of money, and you will be teaching in no time, and everything is going to be a breeze. Let me just take a piece out of this for you for a second before we get into the Jamaican article. It says, at the beginning of 2016 school year, 4 new immigrant teachers came to our rural school in South Carolina. This seems to be a study of the Jamaican teacher coming over to the U.S. and how they assimilate into the U.S. teaching program. So at the beginning of the school year 2016, 4 new immigrant teachers came to our rural school in South Carolina. They were hired due to the inability of the school district to employ teachers in the United States who are willing to work in a rural area school. Therefore, the school requested the help of international teacher recruitment agency called Educational Partners International, or EPI. This company specialized in recruiting teachers from different countries to work as cultural exchange teachers on a special visa that is called the J1 visa. Right. The teachers arrived a few days before the school year started, which is typical for an immigrant teacher. Now, during those days, they had to attend workshops, new teachers orientation sessions, and seminars. A mentor teacher who was expected to provide support was assigned to each immigrant teacher. So they're not just left out there flapping in the wind. Despite the provision of the mentor teachers, these teachers' frustrations were evident in their utterances, classroom interaction, and demeanor as they navigated the unfamiliar cultural and pedagogical terrain. The identified problem of practice for the present research study involves 4 immigrant teachers from Jamaica. The study explores the experience of immigrant teachers in the United States and how they fared in their general professional settings. A recent encounter with the vantage point of a first-year immigrant teacher vivifies the situation as she stated, "When you don't know, you don't know. One of the worst feelings one could have is to have their knowledge or lack thereof of their profession challenged or questioned by oneself. These 2 weeks have taught me that I do not know as much as I thought. As a matter of fact, I have come to accept the fact that I am a brand new teacher. After 15 years of teaching and being in control of my teaching/learning environment, I honestly thought I was proficient. These 2 weeks have proven otherwise. Not only do I feel incompetent, but I feel so retarded. It's like I am professionally dyslexic. Now I have a month to get it together. How does one move from retarded to proficient in 1 month for evaluation? Secondly, based on informal observation of these 4 teachers, I have realized that some essential components of teaching in a South Carolina context are missing. These teachers constantly complain of their limited ability to create lesson plans by integrating all the components required by the district. They stated that in Jamaica, they were not required to teach English Language Arts or ELA as a separate area. Instead, all areas are integrated, making lesson planning and resource selection a little easier. Now, they are given the task of creating lessons plans for discrete disciplines, which they found to be quite onerous. In the early part of the school year, an administrator presented the student performance data from the previous year. The meeting consisted of 6 teachers, with 1 being a first-year Jamaican immigrant teacher. About halfway through the presentation, she raised her hand and she told the administrator that this would make more sense if she knew what MAP, or TE21, gradual release, and high average meant. The administrator told her not to worry about it. She would get it as we moved further into the school year. Now, after a few more minutes, she again, the Jamaican teacher, raised her hand and asked for the meaning of MAP again. The administrator replied this time, "Girl, don't let me lie to you." One of the teachers whose classrooms was next to me had severe classroom management issues. Her students never seemed to stop talking in disruptive ways, and classroom management strategies that she had applied in her Jamaican context, they just did not seem to work. I was summoned several times to help the new immigrant teacher with classroom behavior management, computer issues, and teaching strategies and lesson delivery. I communicated with the principal and the literacy coach and found out that even though these teachers possessed strengths in some areas, they experienced curriculum-based challenges. It is within the backdrop of these new immigrant teachers' curriculum implementation challenges and strengths that this study was conceptualized. I encourage y'all to go and read it. It's lots of pages, and it is well worth the read. If you are a teacher, especially who is interested in migrating to the United States of America, this is a body of work that's about 180 pages long and is filled with information. Again, the name of this is Pedagogy of the Transplanted, a study of selected first-year Jamaican immigrant elementary school teachers and their perspectives on the South Carolina's curriculum processes. Now, let's get into today's issue in Jamaica as it was stated. Kingston, Jamaica. With the beginning of the new academic year set for Monday, September 4th, Minister of Education and Youth Fayval Williams on Wednesday indicated that since her last update on August 18th, 400 more teachers have resigned. 400 teachers in 11 days. The last time I did speak about the number of resignations was on August 18th. At that time, I presented that for the period of January to September 2022, there were 1,538 resignations, and for the period of January to September 2023, there were another 427 resignations. If we compare for the same period, January to September, as of yesterday, the total would be 854, a decline of 44%. In what we saw in January to September of 2022, Minister Williams said. Honestly speaking, all that is just one big confusion to anybody who listens to this. 400 teachers resign in 11 days is the bottom line there. But to be honest, the people who are in positions of power in Jamaica, they always try to use numbers and statistics and jumble the numbers and then back them with big words. So the average person doesn't really understand the crisis that they're in, right? This percentage based versus that percentage, it says nothing to the average person. 400 teachers resign in 11 days is more relatable and is understood by even a child. So, is there a crisis? The answer is yes. She added that 25,000 teachers still remain in the system. She was addressing a post-cabinet press briefing at Jamaica House on Wednesday. Last month, Williams moved to allay fears of a shortage of teachers in the classroom come September. In other words, she was trying to tell everybody that there's nothing to worry about. We've got it all under control. According to Williams, though, the numbers of teachers who have resigned so far this year is much lower than last year. Hundreds of teachers have completed their training and are now ready to join the workforce. These are teachers who are fresh out of school with no teaching experience and are ready to join the workforce. Honestly speaking, again, I think these same teachers will follow in the footsteps of the other teachers who migrated before them, causing the shortage that left the gap open for them to fill. So the question is Jamaica just a mill where we create teachers and then these teachers are to be shipped overseas to fill shortages in rural area schools in places like the United States of America, Canada, the UK, these other first world nations that are connected to our country? Some are even in places like Japan, China. Williams was responding to reports that several schools have been placing advertisements for teachers in recent weeks, putting out ads saying that the jobs are available. Williams added that the ministry has implemented a job portal, making it easier for schools to advertise the positions that are vacant and for teachers who are looking to enter the system to have access to the necessary information. If you're fresh out of school and you're looking for a job as a teacher, you have your qualifications, then you can access these vacant positions and apply for them through this portal. Ahead of the school year, obviously getting notice here a few days before school opens, I can certainly understand the uncertainty of our principals or board across Jamaica, and that is why at least 2 or 3 weeks ago we sent to our schools different strategies to help them use to help with the recruitment process. Boards were given pre-approval to make early recruitment decisions, she said. They were given approval to engage part-time teachers, to engage retired teachers, to pre-train graduates in final year student teachers, to redeploy underutilized staff, to merge small classes, to use blocked timetables approach, to increase the use of information communication technology in the classroom, and we have providers who have been piloting projects. Jesus Christ, that sounds like a whole lot of thinking and strategizing how to actually deal with a huge problem that they're trying to downplay as, nothing to worry about here. We've got it. We'll just go ahead and re-engage retired teachers. We'll just go ahead and use some pre-trained graduates who are in their final year of school. You know, if you're going to school to be a teacher, they're probably going to be trying to hire you now right out of school, like within your final year in school. This would be my suggestion if there's a real shortage, which I think there is. Let's make the final year a learn as you go teaching, like on the job, right? So there's a big issue in Jamaica. Like, I've heard this complaint many of times where you go to school, you get out of university, you have a degree, and then you go to market yourself to look for employment, and the students are told, hey, you need at least 2 years of experience in this field. Now, how could you get 2 years of experience in this field when you're a fresh grad? Okay, so how about this? How about you start hiring them their last year of school, and within their last year of school, they will do learning on the job, right? So that will also count towards finalizing their degree, and it could also count towards lowering their tuition bill, which would give them some incentive to want to enter the teaching profession and stay there. They're also considering student teachers, to using students to teach other students. This is how desperate this has gotten. And they're still not saying, ring the alarm, something is wrong. Okay. However, she is urging teachers to adhere to the legal requirements for a resignation highlighted in Section 54 of the Regulation Act of 1980. Why do you think she would be urging teachers to adhere to the legal requirements for resignation? It's because these teachers are upping and leaving, and they're not giving a damn about the legal requirements for resignation. Last night, I was listening to an interview on Nationwide with the new president of the Jamaica Teachers Association, and he admitted that the age-old practice of teachers resigning with no notice is unprofessional, and I agree with him. In fact, it should be known that there is a legal requirement for teachers who are permanent in the system to give 3 months' notice before they seek retirement, and for those who hold temporary, acting, or provisional positions to give 1 month notice, she said. These teachers are leaving, and they're leaving in numbers. I want to stress that teachers who give 3 months notice and continue to work, of course, they will be paid. They will not be denied their payment. If that happened some long ago in the past, that is not happening now. I can tell you, as an avid viewer of Jamaica news, I've seen the teachers out in the streets, and up to a couple of months ago, there were teachers in the streets complaining about not getting paid for months. So for the, again, leaders, people in positions of power who are saying that happened long ago, and I can assure you it's not happening now, this is not what the teachers are saying. And this is why the teachers are leaving. Jamaican teachers are leaving not just because there is a brain drain struggle going on where a first world country can afford to pay significantly more to those who are suited educationally for these positions, but it is because of the lack of respect for the teachers on the island of Jamaica. Make sure the teachers get their money on time. When your politicians get their big raises, you should make sure that the teachers are taken care of as well. A teaching position should come with benefits as well. Like I stated in the beginning, the most important job, or one of the most important professions out there, is a teaching profession, and those should never ever be neglected. Talk to me in the comment section and tell me if you think what I just said to you is worth anything. 400 teachers resign in 11 days. Ring the alarm. It's an emergency. I'll catch you on the next video. It's Hot Topics SouFLoTV. And hey, I stand with these teachers, man. Everybody wants better for themselves. I'm out. Peace.